Welcome to Confessions of Being Fabulous, where we live, we learn, we grow. Today, we are actually on the go with our video for April. We are in Panama City, Panama. We are here for a business conference, and I have my guest with me and also my good friend of 20 plus years, Miss Nicole Vanderhorst.
Hey guys.
I want to let her introduce herself. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's my BFF. She's amazing. But what say you? Tell them a little bit about who you are.
She's amazing. So I'm Nicole Vanderhorst, CEO and founder of WH Farms Co. We are a botanical manufacturing company that's vertically integrated. We focus on developing and cultivating industrial hemp, and we specialize in premium hemp extracts and botanical products that help provide therapeutic benefits to businesses. And a little bit about me. I am a serial entrepreneur, but Priscilya and I have been living a purpose-driven life for a very long time.
Yes.
This bus sees us, right?
We're on the go, like I said. So please, grace, extend some grace.
There it is. So all about living a very purpose-driven life. I think my relationship with any entrepreneurial venture that I feel led to have been a part of or to launch is through some sort of my desire to be a vessel for economic empowerment as well as healing for our people. So just really excited about an opportunity to be living and walking in a manifested prayer. We used to actually get up at like 5 a.m. probably like 10, 12 years ago, and we would have this thing called story time. And one of the conversations that we would have in story time was how we wanted to do big business, international business. So to be in Panama
and
on business, on business, focusing on the manifestation of our dreams is really awesome.
Absolutely. In today's video, we're going to cut up a little bit, so we'll be in and out, but we just wanted to do a quick introduction. And I'm going to ask a quick question before we part for a bit. Explain how important it is to the viewers to really have a faith temperament, if you will, as you're building something that means so much to you and that can be so impactful to other people.
Yeah, so one of the beautiful things that I think about really applying faith in business is understanding that faith is more than an emotion, but it's really a mindset. One of the things that I've had to train myself as I've grown in business is like when you're going to walk on water, you have to believe that the water can hold you. Yes. And that's what faith is. It's a resolution, it's a mindset, it's a stoicism, it's not as emotional. You don't want to be fickle. Emotions are very fickle. So for me, I try to create a pathway toward my goals by reverse engineering them, not only looking at the biggest possible scenario that can exist, but like reverse engineering the steps and just kind of walking through it or walking to it and through it as if all of the things are supposed to happen, because faith is a resolve, like it's a mindset, it's a belief system. It becomes your quirky way of doing things, but it's the very things that are quirky and are hard for people to follow that kind of gets you outside of what your normal outcomes would have been and gets you into the realm of what your faith-focused outcomes can be.
Listen, digest that. We'll be back.
Bye.
Continuing on our Panama excursion. Welcome back to Confessions of Being Fabulous, where we live, we learn, we grow. So like I said, today's episode is an on the go. I'm in Panama for business at the Attend a conference, and our guest today will be in and out, sharing some stories, talking about faith, talking about that entrepreneurial journey. And it's a blessing to be able to find yourself in a place where you are taking heed to the signs that are given to you by God, the words of wisdom that are shared, sometimes by God, but also it's right there in the Bible. And we choose to be in a season of obedience and paying attention and study, all of those things. So we'll come back to you guys. But I'm very, very, very blessed about how things are going in this season. It's giving magic. 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 I'm tired.
No, you can't.
She's tired. We're
We're
tired.
very tired. Are you
But
tired?
it's been, are you tired?
Tired.
Just call me tired. All right, guys, so we are in Costa Rica now. We're going to jump into our day. But before we do that, we want to continue with this amazing talk we've been having with founder and CEO of WH Farms Co., Nicole Vanderhorst. So I'm walking there now. And as you can see, it's a beautiful day. The breeze is blowing. The hair is flowing. It is so lovely. All right, enjoy. Welcome back to Confessions of Being Fabulous. So as I've mentioned for this episode, we are with Nicole Vanderhorst, CEO and founder of WH Farms Co. And this episode is on the go. We were in Panama. We are now in Costa Rica on same business mission, different country, and we wanted to continue the conversation. So we already talked a little bit about faith. Q, as I told you, I would call her because she's my friend as well. Talk with us a little bit about a principle or two, maybe 3 tops that you feel like you have to abide by as an entrepreneur who is looking to, accomplish a specific goal within the company, or maybe the company goal overall. What are 1 to 3 principles you feel like you have to stick with those principles in order to succeed?
So I think that, every company begins with the founder's vision. And so I think that as a founder who's a visionary, it's important to have the principle to know to cover all bases. Before I was able to develop a strong leadership team or a strong company of individuals, and even as our company expands and grows, there are positions and knowledge and know-how that I needed to be able to develop processes and understanding for in order to place people in those positions. So I try to make sure that I know how to cover those bases so that I can know what I'm hiring for, what performance metrics I should, measure by, and then what the ultimate goal or outcome of what success in that role looks like. I also think that you need to project the energy that you want your culture to embody. And so as a leader, I'm very cognizant of the fact that I am responsible for establishing the cadence, the energy, as well as the culture of the company. And then I invite the team members that join me to establish and to reinforce that culture. So I think it's important to kind of really know that you are the signature, if you will, your behavior, your tone, the way that you communicate with your customers, with your team members across the board. That's really important. And I always think it's important to begin with the end in mind. If you know that your goal is to hit certain, revenue projections or certain distribution projections, then really understanding how, as I said in the first conversation about faith, beginning with the end in mind and reverse engineering so that you're able to not start off in a way that establishes processes that are very unsuccessful for later phases of your company. Even if you are a team of 1, then you have to be the best customer service,
Right.
as well as fulfillment specialist, as well as bookkeeper, as well as all of those things, so that when you expand your team, everyone is duplicating and replicating what it is that you've established.
And I love the last part of what you just said. It's a great segue into something I was thinking about as you were speaking. You had the desire pretty early on to grow a certain way, to be a certain type of company. And so inevitably, you were going to hire people. You had to hire people just off of the strength of your goals alone. So what do you feel for a lot of people who are starting out solo and then they desire to grow to certain levels, which means they have to hire people? What do you feel is kind of like, maybe not the timeline of hiring, but the titles, if you will? Some people might argue the very first person you need to hire is X, and depending on who you speak to, that person may be different. It might be your, executive assistant. It might be a personal assistant. Some people say the very first hire is a bookkeeper. What is your opinion on that?
I think you have to start with your natural skill set.
Okay.
My background is in commercial real estate. I've spent 25 years in sales in some capacity. So a salesperson wasn't my first hire. Operations was my first hire to really manage the influx of demand from customer service to just like fulfillment and the various components. So I think that you just got to know what your raw skill set is. You got to know yourself. You starting a business, you spent time doing other things.
Right.
What is it that you're good at? What are you naturally talented to do? And then you begin to hire your weaknesses so that you can maximize your strength.
Got it. All right, guys, digest that. We'll be back.
Bye.
Welcome back to Confessions of Being Fabulous, where you live, you learn, you grow. So as you guys know, we have been doing this episode on the go. We were in Panama, we're in Costa Rica now. We've been having business meetings. They've all been amazing. And we've been doing these quick these talks in between. So this is gonna be our final segment with Nicole Vanderhorst of WH Farms Co. And I'm really excited about the business that we're conducting here and everything that is happening with WH Farms. I serve as the general counsel, so I feel really blessed and honored. Even though we're BFFs, I still feel blessed and honored to have been chosen to be along the journey of all the amazing things that are happening. So let's close this out by talking a bit about who you are as a person, and how do you, as you're growing a business, always infuse kind of pieces of who you are so that you always feel like as you're growing, like you're at home?
So I believe that entrepreneurship is a very spiritual experience, and I think that the way that entrepreneurship has helped me face limiting beliefs, spiritual challenges, mindset challenges, I've thrown a lot of who I am and allowed my experience to be very vulnerable and transformative. And so I bring that transformation and that journey of healing and self-discovery into any brand that I represent. So for me, authenticity is like the bottom line name of the game, making sure that all of my very basic needs are represented in the brand that I promote, that I develop, that I represent, so that I can allow my brand story to connect with others who have relevance and similarities. And I think that it just creates a natural alignment. So I think authenticity is very important. I think a lot of times, and I've said this before on like another platform, where a lot of times people will build brands based on metrics and external insights. But I think that it's important to build a brand based on your internal insight, knowing who you are, knowing your brand story is personality, knowing the audience that you desire to relate to, and knowing that because your story is very unique and your journey is so unique, then when you package that and really infuse that authenticity into your brand, you're going to inevitably connect with your audience, your target audience. It's gonna create those natural connections. And so when you show up in other places, you're gonna find this alignment that feels very natural because you never forsake any part of yourself when you built your brand.
And it's funny, everything you just said, so it's almost like it takes a level of faith to do that, because you may be tempted to look at other brands, to look at other people and see that they're doing it this way and they're being successful. or they're trying something new over here and they're being successful. But if you really have faith in what it is that you bring to the marketplace, what it is that you personally have to offer, I do believe that there's something special on the other side of your business when you choose to do that. And it takes courage. So one last thing I want to touch on, because you talked about authenticity, do you feel like customers can feel the difference? When you're operating in a space where you're providing a service versus providing a service in a way, I don't know, something just like at the end of this video and every other, I have a jingle, and it's because I actually sing, and I've been doing it for many years. So
signed to Dark Child when we were in college before we knew who Dark Child was. She was our Beyonce before Beyonce, okay? But continue.
But no, so I think about that a lot. Sometimes I can remember I practiced law, and I was at this legal seminar as a presenter, and I thought it would be clever and different to, as I was ending mine, to close out in song, because that's what we do. And there was a part of me that felt weird, but then there was the other part of me, like I had just given this whole discussion on entrepreneurship and people, starting out in their businesses and LLC setups and contracts, and how do you even put a song in there? But I ended with this song. I think I sang a little bit of faith, something, but it's because who I really am at the core, I'm working with entrepreneurs. I'm helping you attempt to get your business off the ground or get, whatever it is that you already have going, cleaned up, perfected, whatever. But I really want to see you succeed. I really do enjoy talking to clients about personal development. So it felt natural for me to do that. So I don't know if down through the years, if I comprehended how important that may have been or not, I don't know, but I just would love your take on like when you choose to embrace moments like that or a season like that where you being you is maybe non-traditional.
Yeah, no, I think that this is why entrepreneurship is has been such a faith and spiritual journey for me, because you got to know yourself to show yourself. If you don't know yourself,
come on,
you won't
T-shirt.
show yourself.
Know yourself to show yourself.
I mean, seriously, it's like, there's not a part of my story that anyone could ever hold against me because I know myself.
Right.
I've healed through it. I've been able to turn it into poison, into medicine, into products, into a brand that helps to heal and provide therapeutic benefits to others, which is what WH Farms Co. does. WH Farms Co. is the brainchild that was at the end of one of the hardest healing journeys that I've ever experienced. I had just lost my father. I didn't want to go in the direction of a prescription medication. I was looking for plant-based options. I had a commercial real estate investment and background in commercial development and residential development. So I decided that my next and best real estate venture would be a farm that we've developed into the seed to sell botanical manufacturing brand. I knew myself. I was able to throw all of my dirty junk into the product development process in order to create something that I knew that I could use in my lifestyle, which is then translated into a brand message that resonates with people. Can customers feel if it's transactional? Yes. Can customers feel when your heart isn't really in it? Yes. Because you often see, especially in the world of e-commerce, one year you're doing this, next year you're doing that. The following year, in a 5-year span, you see an influencer go from selling products that are about women's empowerment to selling products that are about women getting divorces. It's like, how does your ethos change if you've infused yourself into the process? And so knowing that as a precursor to product development and any sort of brand development, I think is super important.
Awesome. I love that answer. So how would you suggest if someone has found themselves in a situation where maybe their ethos, as you put it, is a little bit off? Would that be the proper context and way to say it?
Yeah.
Ethos being off meaning they have maybe lost their way.
Yeah.
They're not in alignment. How do you I have a whole course on pressing the reset button. How would you suggest someone pressing the reset button to get back on track?
Spend time with yourself. Know yourself to show yourself. Spend time with yourself. Get to know what you enjoy again. Develop your own personal insights. I think that market research is very important, but when you think about brand development, it has to be done intrinsically. It has to be from within, from the outside in. And I think that that's what gives the competitive advantage. That's what gives that niche that sauce that no one can duplicate, because everybody can have the same type of products, but not everybody can have the same brand. You go to the water aisle of a grocery store, you see multiple water bottled products, but certain brands give a different element that customers connect to, and you want to figure out what it is that you want your customers to connect to. And I personally want my customers to connect to my journey, my story, and my passion for bringing plant-based therapeutic wellness options to the marketplace, so that they are able to connect to the longevity of what we're developing. Because I think that in business, we do have to get out of the space of being gimmicky, right? They talk about, if you want to be wealthy, you should have 7 streams of income. I think that those 7 streams can be within one house. Right. I think that we have to stop looking at transactional financing our lifestyles as a primary focus, and get back to the depth of good business building and really providing a value. And when I think about what's valuable is the stuff that doesn't go out of business in a couple of years. Hunt's ketchup has been around for a long time, and when you think about the strength of those brands, it's because their ethos is so deeply tied to every aspect of their product development, pricing, marketing, messaging, etc. And that's what a brand is. It's not just the colors, the logo, the font type. It's the silent message that your product communicates. It's with thoughtfulness about ingredients. It's with thoughtfulness about service that you provide. If you're a service-based business, how are you different from every other attorney? How are you different from every other accountant? It's going to be based on who you are and what your belief system is. And that goes back to what we said in another clip, which I don't know the order of how this will go, but in another clip we talked about how as you are growing your team, if you're the first person, everyone is going to be borrowing from your energy. So you have to be very clear, knowing yourself, and so you can show yourself, because they always follow the leader. If the leader is an asshole, you're going to have a team of assholes. If the leader is about customer service and bottom line, you're going to have a team of people that are like that. So I think that that's really important.
Wow. That answer was everything. I feel like we got to come back and have a whole branding and marketing situation going on. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm really, really excited about being here. And without going into any detail, she's literally living this last answer that she just gave. Like literally, as I'm looking around at opportunities and potential customers, and it's all in alignment, like with who she is, the stuff that she likes, the stuff that I know she cares about, the luxury, even like all of this. Like this just happened to be here. It was just here. I'm like,
we got standards, honey.
So it's a real thing. But thank you so much. I'm really excited. You guys, this is April's episode, so it's a little different. We did it on the go.
420. You got to release this 420.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe this can be a 420
Smoke
release.
weed every day.
Maybe this can be a 420 release. You know what? This may be a 420 release. We'll see. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you being here. Come back for more. There's a video every Friday, but then there's a video with someone like my BFF once a month, usually at the top of the month. And I just hope you guys continue to support. If there's anything that you ever want to hear me talk about, or I guess you want me to bring in, I'm still at that stage where I'm accepting, suggestions and so on and so forth, because it's still me trying to learn you and vice versa. So thank you for being here.
Bye, guys.
I wish you lots of fun, laughter, abundance in your life.